On football fields everywhere, the beloved game known for its grit could double as a mirror.
Football is the only game where every player needs every teammate on every play just to survive. But you overcame adversity. And there's adversity in life. This game that we honor here at the Pro Football Hall of Fame, Tom, it's really a great metaphor for life.
Like our lives, the game is pivoting too, offering help to mental health stress that has reached Hall of Fame proportions since the COVID pandemic. The famed Canton institution has launched a support program. David Baker is the recently retired Hall president.
The behavioral health program.
Yeah.
Is it resonating more because of the timing of what's happening?
Yeah, I think we've got a lot of people out there who are angry. You know, sometimes that comes from a place of fear and uncertainty. This is a difficult time. Behavioral health is an issue that crosses all boundaries of race, of religion, of politics, of demographics. The stresses can get to us. So yeah, we think it's something to focus on. We can get through this, and there's things that we can do and people we can go to see to get help.
Is there hope that it will diffuse the potential shaming and stigma that comes with it?
Yeah, I think it is. I mean, again, football players are big, they're strong, they're tough. They're also mentally tough. And I think that there is sometimes a stigma of saying, hey, I need help. This is tough. This is pressure. If I ask for help, am I weak? Well, it's no different when you start a new job or you lose your job. We all have it. It's all a challenge.
Kelly Holcomb was an NFL quarterback for 13 years. He's now a high school football coach in Murfreesboro, Tennessee. He's also one of the Hall's behavioral health advocates, bringing practical help to his players.
With the pandemic, how have you found the student athlete coping with the changes?
It's been really tough on young kids. I think God made us to be social beings. When you hear about a kid who commits suicide or another kid is having problems because he can't be around other kids and they have to stay home, and then sometimes when they're staying home, they're not in the best situations. I mean, we've got bread and peanut butter in here for kids that don't get to eat. I think it's put a huge strain not only on our country, but on families.
Do you have to walk the line of balance between pushing them to get mentally tough and allowing them room to process these pandemic adjustments?
That's a great question, because this is a mentally tough game. That's just the way it is. Yelling and stuff nowadays don't work with these kids, and with this stuff that's happened with the pandemic, it's just kind of reinforced that. But you've kind of got to walk a fine line between going too far and not enough, and it has been a challenge, yes.
Do you measure the similarities between the game of football and everyday life experiences just to get to the next play, just to get through the next day?
Absolutely. I think it's a man problem. Women are able to talk about their feelings, talk about a lot of stuff that men just are unwilling to do. Whether we believe it or not, men are egotistical sometimes, and they don't want to ask for help. And especially if you're a competitive guy and you play in the National Football League for a long time, it's hard for people to ask someone, can you help me?
If it comes from a football platform, easier for men to dismiss the shaming and the misunderstanding of mental health issues?
Because this is such a sport of camaraderie with each other. I think guys are willing to do that more now, not only in football, but in society. The NFL has done a great job of putting the hand out there for, hey, if you need help, call us. If football with this big gung-ho, macho sport, if it takes the lead in something like that, I think people will follow.
Speaking as a coach, a behavioral health advocate, is our mental well-being too neglected too often?
There's no telling how many times I was dinged and didn't come out of the game. You just don't tell anybody. This was in the early 90s. The next day I was at practice. I think now it's more prevalent with equipment, with helmets, making them as safe as they can. I think it's more of a big deal now for guys to say, hey, you know, is this worth it for me? But as a former professional athlete, once you're on that field, you do not want to not play.
How does your Christ following sustain your mental well-being?
That's a good question, Tom. I think you have to be Christ-centered, because that's the only way to make sense of any of this, especially with what's going on right now in our world. I mean, it's tough. Everything that Jesus Christ did on this earth when he came here, it all encompasses love. When you talk to some people, I think that will create a change. That's really why I got into coaching. And that's really what we're put on this earth to do, is make disciples. Are you going to get off the sideline and get in the game?
You're not alone, and it's not forever. we can all get through this. Sometimes it's your faith, that time in the morning of trying to get centered in God's Word. Sometimes it's the fellowship of friends and family who believe in you. Sometimes it can be some professionals who can give you some guidance to embrace that uncertainty, to know that, hey, God's in control of this, even if I'm not. How can I make the best of this? So if it is planned, how can I be part of that plan to be better?